You know, most people's relationship to language and the spoken word is very weak, especially this time of year. This is the time of year where we're creating budgets for the following upcoming year in our self-storage business. Hello, my name is Mark Helm. I'm the author of Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage, and I am the creator of the Self-Storage Quick Start Academy, where we have classes and training and all types of support material, free and paid for courses that support you, the small investor, in getting in this fantastic self-storage business and growing your self-storage business. If you're wanting to get in this business, I'm here to support you. And this is the time of year where we're creating our budgets for the upcoming year in our facilities. Now, like I said, most people's relationship to language is very, very weak. If you pressed in on someone, they would probably say language in the spoken word is about describing what's out there in the world and what they see. And they carry this weak relationship when it comes time to do the budgets. Most people's relationship to a budget is, we're going to try to predict what we're going to do next year. We're going to try to guess at and get an accurate picture of what our self-storage facility is going to do. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's a valid way to approach it. But let me share with you a more powerful way to approach your budgets and approach your relationship to the spoken word. What if language could be used to create? Do you know that it can? But you can use language to actually create a future rather than merely try to describe one you hope or think is going to come into being. And that's a powerful way to relate to the budgets. When you sit down and create your budget for next year, you're creating the financial picture of your self-storage facility. You're not trying to predict. And when it's a slight shift, it sounds like, but it's a major paradigm shift. When your relationship to your budgets are, you're creating the financial picture of your facility next year, everything changes in it. Now, how do you do that? Now, I'm not going to tell anyone how to run their company, what to do, what's right and wrong, what's a good budget and what's a bad budget. I just want to share with you things that we have done and we have learned, and things we've done right and things we've done wrong. And when it comes to the budgets, in many areas, I think we've done it right. We've done a few things wrong in the budget area, but for the most part, I think we've got it right. Now, the first thing I might suggest is everyone who has an accountability on that budget, they are involved in creating the budget. Now, with how we're organized and what our business strategy is, I literally create the budgets before we even buy the facility. I know in year 4 and in year 5 what our income has got to be, what our expenses have got to be, but most importantly, what our net operating income is. Because the net operating income minus expenses, that determines the value of your self-storage facility. And I know before we ever put that in service what the net operating income is going to be. So I have the guidelines. Now, I'm not committed that we stay within the line items of each line number on the budget, like payroll be $86,000. Like, I'm not committed to that number. What I am committed to is the net operating income. So what I do and what our operations manager does is we sit down with the managers and anybody who's accountable for all or part of that budget, usually the facility managers. And we have them involved in the creation process. Now, we know what our income target is. We know that. I know what my income target is on each facility 2 years from now. I know what the income target is. But we allow the managers to be involved in creating how we hit that target, or if they want to exceed that target. And my experience is, usually with the managers, they're more aggressive often than we are. Sometimes we have to drag a manager along, but mostly we're working with the managers so they can create their game for the year around that facility. So we actually have a process for how we create budgets in our company, or how I create a budget. And I want to share that with you. This is not the way, it's a way, and it's a powerful way. The first thing is you've got to get what's so with last year. You cannot be creating something new on top of something that's not complete. So you get complete. How do you get complete with last year's budget? You actually go through it line by line, item by item, and here's the thing: you either hit your budget, you either were short of your budget, or you either exceeded your budget. It was one of those three. And you get what it was, you get who is accountable for what part of it, who is accountable for where you went over, who is accountable for where you were under, and you just get it. You understand what caused it, why it was that way, and what resources are needed in the upcoming year to fulfill on what didn't happen the previous year. It's real important here not to be involved in a big blame game. What you're doing is you're completing, you're getting what's so. You are going to create something brand new, but you have to clean the space out and have nothing in that next year's space about last year. You've got to get it complete. And the way to do that is to be rigorously honest with yourself and with all the team members and what happened. What's powerful is to go through the line items, the storage income number, the late fee number, the administration income number, the truck rental number, and talk to the, find out who's accountable for each line item on that budget, and have them say whatever they need to say so that they can be complete with the previous year. That's really important. Step one, get complete with what happened in last year. Step two, create your income. Now again, I know the target goals that we're trying to hit, but with the operations manager and the facility manager, we create what the income is going to be for that self-storage facility. When are we create, when or what time of the year are we going to have price increases? How much income are we going to get? What's our truck rental income going to be this year? And the game is we try to create it, again, within the parameters that I have set forth before we ever put that into service. But this is where the managers can really play big. They can create games for themselves. This is where I'm going to be in first quarter. If you're in a lease-up situation, what's my occupancy going to be? How much will that occupancy impact the income each month? We have one facility right now that's in lease-up phase. Our game is that income's going to go up $1,500 minimum per month, and our occupancy is going to go up 1,200 net rentable square feet per month, and we're going to take measurements every quarter to see where we are on track of that. Create the income, who's accountable for which part of the income, and how will you know throughout the year if you're hitting your targets or not. Now what we do with our managers is, once we create that and they are bought in on it and they say, yes, this is my number, we then relate to them like this is their promise, this is their commitment, this is what they said they would hit. And as the year goes along and they hit those target numbers, we acknowledge them, we celebrate with them, we incentivize them, we reward them. When they don't hit those numbers, we don't make excuses. We don't let them off the hook. We may not come down with an iron fist, but we hold them accountable. You said we were going to be at 32% occupancy by March, and we're only at 29. What's going on? What happened? What do you need? The third step, start going through the expense numbers. Now, with expense numbers, our managers are accountable for some of the numbers. Our CFO is accountable for some of the numbers. I, as an owner, am accountable for some of those numbers. And what we do is we don't hold the managers accountable for what the total expense number is, but we give them a number. You spent $327 a month last year on retail goods. Is there a way we can get that number down? Can we get your office products down? We really work with them on the expense numbers that they're accountable for, and then we work on the numbers that we're accountable for. And the game is to keep those numbers in line. So ultimately, as an owner, what you're really interested in is that net operating income. I need to exceed what I predicted that income minus expense, net operating income. I need to exceed what that number is that I projected it would be in this upcoming year. That's how we relate to it. And here's the thing, if you've got partners and you've got investors and you've got bankers, and you tell them when you buy the property what the net operating income is going to be in year 4, and you exceed that number and you hit or exceed it every year, you look very strong and you look very powerful. And the way to do that is to have a powerful relationship to the budgets that you create year after year. You want to have the income increase percentage-wise over your expenses year in and year out. That increase compounds, and that's where the wealth is created. That's where you can buy and expand a storage facility and have $2.5 million in it, and 5 years later it's worth $5 million. That's how that's done, by having income go up over expenses each and every year, and that difference compounds. So let me ask you a question. How would you relate to a budget if you knew that what you created was gonna be so? How would you relate to the budget creation process? Well, I invite you to relate to creating a budget just that way. That what you're creating here is going to be what reality is over the next 12 months. You have the power, you have the ability to actually create the financial future of this storage facility and every storage facility you own for the next 12 months. Use this power wisely, use it powerfully, use it correctly, and you can create true wealth and a fulfilling career in this fantastic business of self-storage. My name's Mark Helm. I'm the author of Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage, and I'm the creator of the Storage World Analyzer. It's a powerful financial analysis tool designed specifically for self-storage, and that's the tool that we use to create the 10-year cash flow before we ever put the storage facility in service. And as I'm creating my budgets this year, I look at what was created from the analyzer, and that's our starting place each and every year for our budgets. So thank you very much. You can find out more about that if you're interested at storageworldanalyzer.com, creatingwealththroughselfstorage.com. Happy budget creation time.